Part 5. She came around in the ambulance as it sped across Derry. The sun was already out again, the wet sheets steaming, and at first she talked with such gibberish that Ralph was sure she had suffered a stroke. Then, just as she began to clear up and speak coherently, a second convulsion struck, and it took both Ralph and one of the paramedics who had answered the call to hold her down. It wasn't Dr. Litchfield who came to see Ralph in the third-floor waiting room early that evening, but Dr. Jamal, the neurologist. Dr. Jamal talked to him in a low, soothing voice, telling him that Carolyn was now stabilized, that they were going to keep her overnight, just to be sure, but that she would be able to go home in the morning. There were going to be some new medications, drugs that were expensive, yes, but also quite wonderful. "We must not be losing the hope, Mr. Wilbert," Judge Jamal said. "No," Ralph said. "I suppose not. Will there be more of these, Dr. Jamal?" Dr. Jamal smiled. He spoke in a quiet voice that was rendered somehow even more comforting by his soft Indian accent. Although Dr. Jamal didn't come right out and tell him that Carolyn was going to die, he came as close as anyone ever did during that long year in which she battled to stay alive. The new medications, Jamal said, would probably prevent any further seizures, but things had reached a stage where all predictions had to be taken, quote, with the grains of salt, unquote. The tumor was spreading in spite of everything they had tried, unfortunately. "The motor control problems may show up next," Dr. Jamal said in his comforting voice, "and I am seeing some deterioration in the eyesight, I'm afraid. Can I spend the night with her?" This quietly. "She'll sleep better if I do." He paused, then added, "So will I." "Of course," Dr. Jamal said, brightening. "This is a fine idea." Ralph said heavily, "I think so too."